Hey everyone, welcome back to bageltcg. Today we're going to be doing a deck tech for the new Uprising hero FAB. Before we jump into that, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Whipped Wizard. You can use the affiliate link in the description to get a lot of your Flesh and Blood product while supporting the channel and get 5% back on all box breaks. You can also support the channel on Patreon and then get bonus content after every video in the form of extended videos. They're more podcast style. There's also cool giveaways and a Discord that you all get through the Patreon. I definitely appreciate all of the support. But let's hop right into the deck tech here. So Fi is our new Draconic Ninja hero. And this deck is still pretty unrefined. The hero has only been out for like a week. And so the hero is definitely not solved yet. You can see this deck is kind of trying to cover all its bases instead of committing to one strategy yet. You can kind of tell that just by seeing 10 loadout pieces is more than you probably are going to end up running. But as of right now, I'm just trying to make sure it's kind of able to do everything until we can decide what it's really good at and then hone in on that strategy. But actually, let's hop over here to the deck tech view, and let's hop into the deck tech. Yeah, so starting out here, we have the hero. We've got Fi, Rising Rebellion. He's got the ability to start the game with a Phoenix Flame in his graveyard, and then as a once per turn instant, he can pay 3 resources to return a Phoenix Flame from his graveyard to his hand, and it costs 1 resource less for each Draconic Chain Link. So it can be free if you control 3 Draconic Chain Links. His weapon is an easy way to get one of those Draconic Chain Links. For 2 resources, he can attack for 3, and if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, it has Go Again. It itself is a Draconic Chain Link because it's a Draconic Ninja weapon, so you only need to have 1 Draconic Chain Link before you attack with this. Let's show you Phoenix Flames in case you aren't sure what these do yet. These are 0 cost Draconic attack actions. They don't block, they attack for 0, they have Go Again, but if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, it has +1. So if you attacked with 1 Draconic card before this is your second attack, it will be the second Draconic Chain Link, and it'll attack for 1. This makes it so Fi is able to really easily able to extend his chains because he's able to get these free attacks every turn. His weapon is an easy way to extend chains. His hero ability is an easy way to extend chains as well. Then we've got some kind of classic ninja equipment in the form of Fyendal Spring Tunic. Mask Momentum is our key piece of equipment here. When our attack action you control hits and it's a 3rd or higher chain link number to hit, we draw a card, so some extra card draw every turn is pretty nice. We have the new legendary ninja arms here, Tiger Stripe Shuko. They block for 2 with Blade Break, and they also have the second attack action card with 2 or less base power you play each turn, has +1 power, and damage that would be dealt by this can't be prevented. So this is mostly going to trigger off of our Phoenix Flames here. Our second Phoenix Flame, if we play 2 in a turn, will be coming in for the total of 2 damage. So we'll be able to attack for 1 with the first Phoenix Flame and then 2 with the second one. And damage can't be prevented by the second one, which is nice against cards like Crown of Seeds or Oldham Hero ability. Outside of that, we've got Snapdragon Scalers, pretty classic as well. So our classic setup is going to be the Snapdragon Scalers with Mask of Momentum, Tiger Stripe Shuko, and Fyendal Spring Tunic. We also have Arcane Barrier in the form of Null Rune Gloves, Null Rune Robe, and then Tide Flippers. We don't really care that much about the ability of Tide Flippers, just that it has Arcane Barrier. This is for stuff like Icelander or Wizards. And then I have kind of this combo package in here. I'm not sure how correct it is or if it'll end up being the right way to combo out. But against decks that are able to block us really easily, they might be able to prevent Mask Momentum too well, and we're not going to get any value from it. So then we can play stuff like Mask of the Pouncing Links. It has, when an attack action card you control hits, you can destroy it. If you do, search your deck for an attack action card with 2 or less base power, banish it, then shuffle. You can play it this turn. So this basically gets us a free Phoenix Flame from our deck. And in combination with Stubby Hammerers, our other arm piece, that says destroy it, attack actions with 3 or less base power, gain +1 while attacking this turn. We can kind of do a big combo turn. We get +1 on all our attacks from Stubby Hammers. Mask of the Pouncing Links gets us a free attack. then we can maybe come in with Phoenix Form at the end here. This is a big payoff card for us. It costs 0, it blocks for 3 and attacks for 3, and it pitches for 1. And it says if you control 1 or more Phoenix Flames, it has Go Again. If you control 2 or more, it has +2 power. And if you control 3 or more, it has when this hits a hero, draw 3 cards. So drawing 3 cards is pretty insane. In combination with Phoenix Form, with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and then a card that gets us a Phoenix Flame, like maybe this Inflame here, we can get 3 Phoenix Flames out, and then attack with Phoenix Form to try to get huge value. Inflame here is a 0 cost that pitches for 1, it attacks for 1 and blocks for 2, and it has Go Again. And it says when you attack with it, if you've played another red card this turn, you may return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. So with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, with Inflame, and then with our hero ability, we are able to get 3 Phoenix Flames out onto the battlefield and then resolve a Phoenix Form for a huge draw if we're able to get to hit. These are really good in combination, of course, with Stubby Hammers that will buff all of our attacks that we just talked about because they all have base power 3 or less. And then we can also use other cards like these Artivores here. Artivore is a classic card, and we're going to choose to give all of our attack actions +1/+1 until end of turn. And then we also have this new card called Spreading Flames. It costs 1, it pitches for 1, it attacks for 3, and blocks for 2. It's a Draconic Ninja attack action with Go Again. And it says the Draconic attacks you control have +1 power, while their base power is less than the number of Draconic Chain Links you control. So this is pretty much always going to trigger off of Phoenix Flames because they have base power 0. So even with 1 Chain Link, their power will be less than that. Pretty powerful card. So if we can play a Spreading Flames, an Artivore, Stubby Hammers, that's +3 to all of our attacks. That makes all of our Phoenix Flames come in for 4 total damage. That means our 3 Phoenix Flames are going to come in for a total of 12 damage. Our Inflame will come in for an extra 5 here, so that's 17 damage. And then our Phoenix Form can come in for a total of 8 damage. And if it hits, draw 3. We're also threatening Mask Momentum, and we have to attack early on to trigger Inflame. So that can be like Flame Call Awakening. It can be Ronin Renegade, any of those kinds of cards. So that's kind of the combo we have here. But against decks that we don't need to combo off on, we've kind of got just a classic game plan in here. We have lots of attacks that attack for 3 Go Again. For example, Brando Cinderclaw is a 0 for 3 with Go Again. We have Rising Resentment as a 0 for 3 with Go Again. We have Ronin Renegade as a 0 for 3 with Go Again. And those are all pretty powerful. We have a few 1 for 4s with Go Again, like Mounting Anger, like Blaze Headlong that has conditional Go Again. We have Soaring Strike as a 1 for 4 with Go Again. We have 1 2 for 5 with Go Again. That's Engulfing Flame Wave. This is our only 2-cost attack in the whole deck. It's basically just because of how powerful of an ability it has here, right? It says when it hits, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an attack action card with cost less than the number of Draconic Chain Links you control, banish it. You may play it this turn. So even if this is our first attack, then it'll still be able to banish a 0 cross from the top. If it's our second attack, it can banish any attack action in the deck except for itself off the top, right? Because it's 2 cost. But really powerful card with a really relevant on hit. And I think it probably is worth being in the deck. We've got a few ways to find our Phoenix Flames. Not a few ways. We've got 3 ways, and that's 3 Flame Call Awakening. It attacks for 3, blocks for 2, costs 1, and pitches for 1. It's a Draconic attack action with Go Again. And it says when you attack with it, if you've played another red card this turn, you may search your deck for a Phoenix Flame, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. So this is a way for us to get some of our Phoenix Flames. Outside of that, we've got 3 Artivore. This is just to give us some extra damage. Artivore basically doesn't cost any cards because it draws 2 and banishes 1. The only thing you're paying is you're essentially paying 1 total resource to give all of your attack actions +1/+1 that turn, which I think is super worth it. I'd pay 1 resource any day to give all of my cards +1/+1. And you can even banish a card that you don't want to get 2 cards that you hopefully do want. So Artivore ends up getting a ton of value. It works really well with Phoenix Flames, giving them all +1 that turn. Ton of value there. We're running red and blue Rise from the Ashes. This is a 0 cost non-attack. I think it's our only non-attack in the deck here, but it's pretty powerful. It costs 0, pitches for 1, blocks for 2, and it's a non-attack. Draconic Ninja, non-attack with Go Again. It says your next Draconic or Ninja attack action card gets +3, or the blue says +1, and it returns a Phoenix Flame from our graveyard to our hand. So another way to return Phoenix Flames to our hand, and that's really important for our payoff cards. Our two big Phoenix Flame payoff cards are Phoenix Form, like we already talked about. This is kind of our best one per se. The draw 3 on hit is pretty insane, and if it ever happens, you should probably win that game on the spot. Our other payoff card is Rise Up here. Rise Up costs 1, it blocks for 3 and attacks for 3, and it pitches for 1. It is a Dramai or Phi specialization. It does not have Go Again, and it is not a ninja card. It's just a draconic attack action. It has Rupture, which means it only triggers if it's chain link 4 or higher. But if it's chain link 4 or higher, it has Dominate and plus X power, where X is twice the number of Phoenix Flames you control. So this card's already pretty fine if you control only one Phoenix Flame. That makes it a 1-for-5 Dominate. 1-for-5 Dominate is a fine rate. With 2 Phoenix Flames, it's already a really good rate, because then it's a 1-for-7 Dominate. And with 3 Phoenix Flames, it's a 1-for-9 Dominate, which is pretty busted. A few really nice things about this card is that even though it doesn't have Go Again, we can give it Go Again with our Snapdragon Scalers. So because it has Dominate, it's going to be harder for our opponent to block. And that means it might be our third attack. It might be the one that's going to trigger Mask of Momentum here. And if it's going to trigger Mask of Momentum, we can then use our Snapdragon Scalers on it to keep our chain going and keep going off that turn. So Rise Up is a really powerful payoff. Those are kind of our only 6 payoffs in the deck, but they end up being pretty good and basically enough. Like I said, our enablers are Artivore and Spreading Flames, which are kind of our big +1s across our whole board. We have 3 Ancestral Empowerments. I know that we have quite a few cards in the deck that aren't ninja cards. We've got quite a few that are just draconic, namely Flame Call Awakening and Rise Up, as well as Blaze Headlong are 9 copies of cards that aren't ninja cards. But I think all of our other cards are ninja cards, other than Phoenix Flame as well. So Ancestral Empowerment is a really good ninja card. It blocks for 3, it costs 0 and pitches for 1, and its attack reaction, it gives a ninja attack action +1 power and draws a card. So it replaces itself, but namely it can be that extra +1 to make Mask of Momentum trigger. In our sideboard here, the main cards are those 2 Inflames. These are going to come in when we want to do that combo with Stubby Hammerers and Mask of the Pouncing Links. We've got 3 Thaw. This card's really important as a Phantasm Popper and against any of those pesky ice decks that want to give us Frostbites or freeze cards and give us Ice Afflictions. We've got 2 Liquefy. This card's really nice against control decks. It can destroy Crown of Seeds. It can destroy Rampart. It can destroy a lot of really key equipment, and so pretty nice against decks that are trying to block us out. And then 3 Erase Face. This one's mostly as a Phantasm Popper too, although in some matchups it can be really important, like in the mirror, it's pretty good against any of those kind of ice decks like Lexi or Icelander, namely. It turns off a lot of their ways to give us Frostbites. There's certainly matchups where Erase Face is going to be quite good, but I just don't know all of them off the top of my head. But overall, that's the deck. Once again, it's pretty standard. I don't think there's anything crazy going on here, and I think it has a lot of room for you to change cards around. Even in the main deck, you don't need to keep every card here. These Engulfing Flame Waves here at the bottom, the 2-for-5s, these could maybe be something different. Excuse me. There's a lot of room to change stuff that's going on. 10 loadout cards might be too many. We might not need this combo package using Stubby Hammerers and Mask of the Pouncing Links. Or maybe that's the best package and we just run that 100% of the time. I'm not sure which is the better way to go. Maybe we want 3 Inflames. Maybe we want them always main board. Maybe we want some Command and Conquers. Maybe it turns out Erase Face isn't that good. Maybe it turns out Liquefy isn't that good and it's too hard to get off. But I think this is a really good starting point. It's a really safe starting point. And if you want to start playing Fi and you don't have a deck list yet, I would definitely recommend starting here. Start with this list, and then if you don't like a card, you can take it out and replace it with something new. If you do like a card, keep it in. I think it's just a safe starting point. It's kind of a standard, very basic deck list with a lot of 3-ofs, almost all 3-ofs except for sideboard cards. So it's just a lot of safe cards that you can throw into a deck, run it. I think it's going to be probably fairly cheap to build if you already have the old Ninja stuff. If you just need Uprising cards, it's just Tiger Stripe, Shuko, and then a bunch of commons and rares here, right? Except for some Phoenix forms. So I'm excited to play this deck. It's felt pretty strong in our play testing so far. And I think he's going to end up being probably in the top 3 aggro decks in the format. Briar has still felt a bit stronger, but I think overall he's going to be in those probably top 3 spots for aggro decks. He's really strong, and I look forward to seeing him get tuned more and seeing how he ends up turning out at the end of this meta and seeing if he can actually have a pretty nice impact here overall. The last Uprising hero we have to look at is Dromai. Dromai has caused us the most trouble. She definitely seems to be the weakest of the 3 heroes, but we're still working on a list, and hopefully we'll get that out to you guys sometime soon. Give me any feedback in the description. Let me know what your FAB deck looks like, any changes that you would make, and remember to like, subscribe, comment, and see you next time.